can't stop thinking about this argument that Stephen Bonnell, the second or whatever, the third or whatever, Destiny made. It's a very bad argument, but it's fantastic because he's reliant upon it for kind of his moral stance, where he argues from. And it was this that you see that the right shouldn't be so concerned that they should think about that because they're explicitly and implicitly violent, that violence that comes from the left is in some way understandable. You know, that that both sides are doing it. So now what's interesting is the example he gives is people being thrown out of the country and not giving their proper hearings and this and that. Well, they are. They actually are totally going through the process as it absolutely legally is set up. That's why there's nobody who's suddenly nobody's going to be coming back because they sued, in Tegucigalpa or something. They got a lawyer and were like, hey, you what you did, that was totally against your own constitution, so you have to let me hang out there and have welfare. The way that this has worked is, oh, whoops, I don't want to go underneath that. Somebody's cleaning windows. Actually, I gotta admit, you might want to see this, because this is kind of a trip. Now that the more I'm thinking about this, up on a cherry picker, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 floors up, bro. I didn't know that there were cherry pickers that went up 7 floors. Wow. Even the ladies coming out of the ballet place are like, what the fuck? They're coming out of the building. They're like, oh my gosh. And there he is. The white man. At the top of the cherry picker. See, we could put a Bauhaus beat to boom, boom, there he is. The white man. On the cherry picker. Keeping your building clean. Boom, boom. I do this a lot in my own mind. I have a headcanon of all kinds of weird phrases and sayings, put to weird, Bauhaus kind of goth style beats. I'm like, God damn it, that's fucking funny. And, it keeps me giggling and cheery inside to have my own personal jokes with myself. Destiny was basically arguing this idea of, because the left likes to say anything that they don't like is fundamentally violence, and this has come up now for years. This is how BLM and Antifa operated, and this is it's just a part of a ploy so they could bully people, because a lot of weak people on the left kind of always wish they'd been in a gang. They'd always wished they'd been in some kind of army or a part of some movement and wanted to be a part of something bigger than themselves. I understand this. I totally understand this. And then there's this kind of strange sort of legitimacy over the mundane life of the mundane life of just getting married and having kids. That's nice. That's it. That's winning. But there's a lot of people, especially online, they like to purport this idea of, oh, but you should be in a movement, doing things with the... And it's like, get married, have kids, be happy. Ideally, that's how it works. It's when you kind of have things not work ideally that you don't get married and have kids. And then there's these people like Destiny who they unmarried with a kid, or divorced now with a kid, kind Kid and him apparently aren't on good terms. It's like this, kind of, like, okay, well, that's not really an example of you winning the contest of life. So why? So your understanding of life might be a little fractured in the first place. And so he wants to consider just wanting the law enforced. And really being a person who's like, no, I just want the law enforced. He's arguing online, you should possibly expect somebody to do something to you because they think differently about the law. Or something like this. That is, and that kind of smugness. Somebody might do something because you want the law enforced, And growing up, seeing the whole Middle Eastern thing, a lot of that kind of talk, if you keep doing this could happen, And now that we're plagued with this. So it's not candor, it's not frankness, it's not honorable. Say what you're going to do. What the hell do you mean? Oh, well, I don't like that law. If you like it, I'm going to beat your ass. That's what you're trying to say, but you're not being honorable. Say it with honor so that everybody knows there's no guilt. Because then there's shame. Because you're a liar. Because you're a fucking liar. That's really what it is. You're just some guy who wants to beat people up for arbitrary reasons. But you're trying to figure out a way of making it work. And, but the thing is, Stephen Bonnell can't beat up other men. This is one of these key issues with the political left. That angry as hell about it, kind of have this demented idea that they have a moral duty to do something to you, but they physically can't because you could pick them up and throw them like a cat. And so it ends up with this thing of, okay, well, we're going to figure out all kinds of ways of being sneaky about how to get you because you want the law enforced. We're all going to work together and not let anyone know except each other. We're going to get you for wanting the law enforced. Now too many people get it. All over the planet, most people in older cultures are very aware of this kind of methodology of bullying people. Now the issue with the political left is, it's not going to work anymore, son. Because at some point, we actually do have to act as if you're being totally legit. And that, that you're not saying that people in masks should beat up old people who attend talks by different thinkers or something. See, because where destiny goes, there's never a whole bunch of people in masks who are on the right wanting to get them. But where, say, Ben Shapiro goes, or Milo Yiannopoulos, most famously, and others, they go there, people show up in masks and start getting physical. And it's the left getting physical with people. The left trying to mess with the police. And it's, why do the left start attacking the police out of nowhere when the event started? And why do they pull the fire alarms, stuff like that? Destiny can't, he has no way of dealing with, we all know what this is. You guys are unstable, violent people. And you can't convince people you're right. Destiny doesn't win debates. He doesn't convince people. He makes people understand, the left don't really debate. That's what he's taught too many people. People who are really smart know, no. Destiny is just doing what you always encounter with people like this. And he's just particularly good at bad debate. And so, it's his superpower. This is actually the power of, technically, it was one of the early powers of Deadpool. That's why Deadpool is always cracking jokes, because as long as he keeps talking, you start losing your accuracy and your acuity and stuff like that. That's the idea. Is as long as he keeps talking, it's a debuff or whatever on your abilities. That was one of the early things about him. And so there's this specific episode of the Uncanny X-Men or the issue, and the guy breaks his jaw so he can't keep talking, and that's how they stop him. But he just becomes too fun of a character, and he's too cool looking. Everything about him is way too cool looking. Him and that gold and green assassin guy, of the same kind of origin story as well. Like the Weapon X origin story arc and stuff. I always forget the other assassin's name. But they were both in Uncanny X-Men way back in the day when it was the shit. And so the thing I started to wonder, a lot of this about these kind of the support for this or that movement, there has been a problem. And it came up in somebody doing research, a group named Tactical Rabbit. Their article was changed, and but the original was archived, and it was a deep dive into all these organizations on the left and where they got their money. And it was actually a really interesting investigation. It's been archived, and I know there's one of our members has made sure to send me the link at least once, and it was a good link. It's a good link to the archive site. But this also involves causa justa, like just cause. And so one of the things that you're not allowed really to have organizations in the United States that are dedicated to the, say, destruction of said republic, the overthrow of the government, things like that. Like people who say things like that, or it's in their writings, in their screeds, they're consistently violent with police, everywhere. Okay, Antifa a long time ago would have been labeled a gang. Like in across almost every state, they've done something that they would have gotten them categorized as a type of gang, criminal organization, some type of political criminal organization, terrorist organization, or something. And so it's now the stage at which I'm like, this is, and BLM had said, there were things that they had said that I'm like, none of this makes sense. That they're just allowed to because everywhere they go, violence starts everywhere. So how are they allowed to do this? But that was the thing. The government, it turns out, was rife with Democratic partisans, and now we know this. Now it's become absolutely clear. Like, no, having an organization that says that that's what it's supposed to do and that it's allowed to exist in some legal fashion, it's like, no, somebody's helping you. So it really comes down to, this is a non-profiteer / government op. And the Antifa and BLM are basically ops by rich kids and their parents and their uncles and aunts in the Democratic Party. And that these are people who believe in political violence. They don't believe in the democratic process. They don't convince people so that people vote the way they want. That happened exactly opposite of what they wanted. It went exactly the opposite of what they wanted. It absolutely was as if the snack had a boot on it. It's going, this is precisely not what I wanted. Anybody who knows the meme. But that's what winning feels so good. Like Chuck Mangione would say. It feels so good. Because we convinced. There was not even chicanery. You guys literally could not convince people in any way, shape, or form that you had good ideas and that people should vote for you. And by the end of it, it comes out that, and maybe you're exceedingly dishonest people on top of it. And possibly dishonest people surviving off of government largesse. And we convinced people of this. And you lost. Now it's just time to deal with the emotions. Because you're probably not going to be able to change what you're kind of whatever's going on with your party. Everybody outside of it is looking and kind of like, wondering, because it's sort of like seeing a character in Digimon or Pokemon or something go to its next level, but its next level is kind of like smaller with less powers. It's like you had taken the fire flower, but then you hit a Koopa, and now you're back down to like normal size, and you had gotten so big that you could just kind of fly through the levels. You just had the cheat code. Now you don't have the cheat code. We convinced people to take away your cheat code. And the people, having taken away your cheat code, now you guys are back to, Luigi. Wow. Figuratively and literally.
Wait.
That's a weird... Wow, I'm smart. Okay. So yeah, just some I was thinking about. I'll stop there. Because that was good. All right, peace.